Think I've been here before. I know that I must have met you in a past life. Got my heart on the floor. Go slow. Keep me falling for you all night.
Now, when it comes to different events, of course, the location plays a part, but often the biggest difference is the weather. Well, that wasn't the case here at Cadiz on day one. Here, it was this wall that played a big part in the first day's racing. Here's why.
Yeah, really tough day. The swell, decent sized swell, hitting a brake wall and bouncing back at us, it was really tough. But yeah, really proud of our team. We bounced back after a tough first race, and Jason Waterhouse was our MVP today, flying the boat, stable, less crashes than other teams, and so we got two good last races. Out on the racetrack, I was actually watching the live data. I was asking our coach what GBR, what New Zealand, what they were doing with their settings, their rudder settings, and I was trying to pick the most stable boats I could see going downwind and try to emulate their settings a little. I think they ended up coming our way a little bit in the end because they thought that we were doing a better job, and so that's good, but it's always nice to see their live setup and and then you can choose to copy it or not.
Mate, that was a brutal day, yeah. Thankfully it wasn't super windy, but yeah, there was a huge swell and man, it was so difficult to get downwind, and I think everyone was struggling and everyone had nosedives, and we had a couple of really costly ones, so it made it super extra hard, I guess.
What can you do tonight to feel a bit more comfortable if those conditions are like that tomorrow?
I think it's actually quite a hard one. There's nothing that beats experience, so the more you can sail in that stuff, the better you're going to be. But look, we'll pick apart the other teams, we'll watch the others and see if they're doing anything different to us, and see if we can improve by just watching. But yeah, time on the water is everything, so we'll be trying to maximise that as well.
Yeah, it was tough. Yeah, really tough. I mean, I think the hardest for the flight controllers, clearly, but yeah, I think every team had moments today where you just, for whatever reason, you get a super bad wave, and so it was all about just staying calm and just recovering and getting back into the race.
It sounds like, from what you're saying, today was harder than if you're facing, well, Saint Tropez conditions, 25 knots and a relatively flat sea.
Without a doubt, any foiling boat, the hardest condition is always big waves. It's just. It's almost impossible to sort of sail consistently, and yeah, in flat water you can actually sail in a lot of wind, but it's, for instance, if we had lighter air today with these same waves, it'd be even more challenging than the 25 that we had in Saint Tropez in flat water. So yeah, it's all about the sea state when it's a foiling boat.
It was a little bit like being on a Brucking Bronco at times, with the sea state, keeping these boats up in the air, but not too high up, obviously. And I think we saw plenty of crashes. And big job for the flight controllers. Parco, our flight controller, had a brilliant day, stand out today for us, and certainly those last couple of races got us back in the hunt, and looking forward to tomorrow.
He did, but I understand he didn't have any comms for quite a while.
He didn't have any comms in the last race, which is not ideal in any conditions, but particularly when it's that rough. So we had to resort to screaming and shouting and hand signals and good old-fashioned yachting comms. We just about found a way to get round.
That was a very, very difficult day for us. Our first day in waves, and we didn't manage it well, so we need to regroup tonight and figure that out for tomorrow.
How do you go? Where do you start with that? Because it's very unusual conditions, isn't it?
To be honest, the best way to start is to look at the boats who've done well, like just pull up their boat and just go through every single leg of the race course and look at the data and look at how they sailed the race course. That's the best way to start, and then afterwards we'll try to see the difference between us and them. And yeah, it sounds like we're just going to be copycats tomorrow, but sometimes you got to do that because we don't have time to learn and we're not going to practice before tomorrow, so we just got to copy some of the teams that did well.
When you have a day like today where it's different conditions to what we normally sail in, that's when you really delve into the data and you can see where some of the teams are getting it right, why, what are the differences. It's a pretty standard day now. The teams are getting so close. There's hardly any difference really in the performance. But a day like today, you'll see more differences, and that's where you can learn a bit more.
That's as hard as it gets, really, and that sort of stuff.
At the beginning of this event, in the press conference, a number of the skippers talked about how close the racing was going to be. Anybody who's watched these kind of events before will know that that's often what they say anyway. But not even they expected what came out after day one. This has to be some of the tightest, if not the closest racing that SailGP has ever seen in a single day. Because by the end of it, we had 6 boats separated by just 5 points. France were leading, Australia second, both on equal points at 24. The Brits are on 22, New Zealand's on 21, so too are the Americans, and the Spanish on 19 points. That's going to make for one hell of a second day when only 3 teams are going to be able to make it through to the final.